So, would you like to start with characters or start with the world itself?
We'll start with characters. Sure. What were you
Okay.
thinking?
Well, I was thinking maybe like a slightly exhausted type of character.
Oh yeah,
Like they've always
that's
got a pun, but
yeah.
and just have the dirtiest laugh.
I mean, I'm thinking a character that's like wildly flip-flopping between I have all the energy in the world to do everything and oh no,
Mm, mm,
everything's too
mm,
much.
mm,
And we're all
mm.
back and forth.
Yeah. Oh no, no, mine can definitely do like ooh big hyper focus and then just like completely lose a whole sentence, like a train of thought just gone.
Yep. Maybe put it. Maybe have a character that's something like oh, I did 3 months worth of work in a week. Oops, gotta have a coma now.
Gotta have that coma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that for your character. Okay, so what about the world that they're going to inhabit?
Oh, I don't know. You got any thoughts where to start?
I mean, obviously queer as fuck, right?
Yeah. And it's got to be a pleasant world.
Oh yeah, like it's got to be like just like a nice place for nice people to come and hang out
It's
and have nice
I,
experiences.
I feel like any world that's queer and pleasant enough that I would feel friendly. I feel safe talking to a stranger.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if it were queer and pleasant and I could talk to strangers and that would feel safe, then that could be a good world.
I like that. I think okay. Well, I
Yeah.
think yeah, I think I'm ready to enter this world. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet Dale, and welcome to another episode of Queer Unpleasant Strangers. It's a podcast where two queer trans women have a bit of a catch up about the media we've consumed in the week and such.
Om
Do
nom
some
nom.
silly voices and skits and whatnot.
Tasty media.
Tasty media, om nom nom. We've consumed a lot of it this week.
Mm-hmm.
So many media consumption. How do we find the time?
With difficulty
With
and
lack of
sometimes with
sleep?
commuting.
Yeah.
And also, yes, lack of sleep.
I mean, that's part of it. Should we start with things we've played this week?
Yes, tell me about something that you have played.
Well, I've been playing through Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
It's
It
adorable.
is adorable. It is the first Kirby game to be a proper, like, 3D Kirby game. It's a 3D game in the sense that something like Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U was, in that it is on somewhat of a set of rails and it's using fixed camera angles, but it is existing in a 3D environment. And I think that it's a real testament to this game how impressively it feels like a Kirby game while feeling like a competent modern 3D game, and that they've really managed to capture the essence of that series and translate it over to 3D really naturally, which is really nice.
Mhm.
There's a few gimmicky things in this one, as there always are at this point, this depth into a series. There's a thing called mouthful mode where Kirby stretches their mouth sort of over an object, not quite enough to swallow it. As weird as that was initially, I actually really enjoy all of the gameplay opportunities that opens up, and some of them are good. And it will never. The car doesn't stop being kind of weird, but I think it's a really good addition to the series.
Do you have a favourite mouthful mode?
Oh, the vending machine
The
mouth.
vending machine
Vending machine works quite well.
shooting out. It's not the water balloon.
The water balloon, I genuinely think that someone on the dev team has a very specific kink, and I'm not judging them for that, but I don't think they've done a very good job of hiding that that's their favourite mouthful mode.
Why would you hide it?
Yeah, suck up all the water, become all big sloshy Kirby.
Oh no, I'm so
Oh.
full.
Well, the other thing this does is it allows for upgrading of abilities as you go through the game, and again, I think they've done a really nice job of taking classic Kirby abilities and building them up into different things as you go through the game. It gives a nice sense of progression. There is definitely difficulty there for people who want it. It's another one of those Nintendo games where getting to see the credits roll isn't going to be too tricky. There is a hard mode available from the start, but even so, like getting up to the credits won't be too bad. And then you've got a post credits, and then you've got another challenge past that, and the more sets of credits you get past, the more it's like, okay, we're going to ramp up that difficulty a bit more if you want like something else to do that's a bit harder. By the end of it, fighting against the final boss of a big boss rush of very hard mode, very hard bosses,
Mhm.
I was really impressed at how well this game feels like a very, very competent character action game that could stand up with your Bayonettas and your Devil May Cries at points. I didn't know until I was right near the end of the game that there is a dodge that includes witch time from Bayonetta, where if you dodge just before an attack, everything slows down so you have a few seconds to get attacks in before everything speeds back up. There's really good combat mechanics in this. It is a very satisfying game to play. But most importantly, there's 2 levels in which you can go find little lost ducklings and bring them back to their mum, and it's the best.
The duckies.
Yeah, the 2 levels where you go rescue the ducklings and they waddle behind you all excitedly is the best game of the year. It's kind of a short game, and a bit of it relies on reusing levels with new objectives to go, hey, go find that thing you missed in that level. I don't mind that. After the last couple of months of playing very big games that were very involved, I really appreciated just having a nice, complete it in a weekend palate cleanser of a game that was just charming and nice and made me smile.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What have you played this week?
I finally finished playing through As Your Dreams.
Yes, you did. How did that go?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a point where you were like, I'm pushing ahead just to complete it, or
there was a sort of. It was less of a, oh, I'm really slogging through this now, I need to do better and get more thing, and more, I'm just going to rush for the end of the game and see what happens.
Yeah. At a certain point, that's what you were there for.
Yeah, I just wanted to just give it a go and see, can I just get to level 40? Yeah. And I got to level 40, and the end is basically out of your control.
Yeah.
And that's it. You got to the top of the tower. Woo! Plot. I mean, yes, I am going to spoil a 20-plus-year-old game. The problem with the ending is partially that it's not very good.
Care to elaborate?
So, at the beginning of the game, your dad is a famous monster trainer, your mum has literally just had you.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm going off up the monster tower, and next thing you know, there's a little flash forward where, you're playing with your neighbour.
Yeah.
And your dad's like, you need to be respectful for women. Okay, Dad, I will do a good.
And then Dad just never comes
Dad goes
home.
off to the tower, and then there's all these weird lights and mystical symbols coming out of the tower one night, and then it rains in the desert, which is very uncommon. And suddenly that's it. He's gone, and he never comes back, and his familiar comes back without him, and everyone just assumes he's dead. Correctly.
Oh.
So then it's your 15th birthday. You are old enough to go poke some mons.
You can also climb the big tower that your dad went missing in. Have fun.
Off you go. Well, see, the thing is, humans who go into the tower are all brought back down to level 1. So it doesn't matter how much you've leveled up in your journey. Everyone fights at the same level.
Okay.
So it's more a case of, are you mature enough to go into the tower than are you skilled enough? Are you strong enough?
Yeah.
But you'll have things like weapons that you will have powered up by repeatedly going in.
Yeah.
You do that by going in and just touching the first few levels, hoping to get the things you need to make your weapon stronger, because your weapons don't change. So it's more a case of leveling up your weapons by going in there. The levels you gain when you're in there don't matter a huge amount.
Yeah.
You're mostly there to level up your monsters until such time as you can rush up to level 40 and get that ending. At level 31, you're just sort of met with this holographic projection, and it's I'm the guy that killed your dad, ha ha ha, and he cut my hand off and I'm really angry about that, so come up to the top floor and we will face off. See you there, bye. And it's that's all the introduction you have to this bad guy. Someone that's never previously been mentioned, who looks like a weird anime villain. It was I lost my hand, so now I'm gonna kill you, bye!
That really doesn't sound great.
You get up to level 40 and it's oh, okay, well I guess there's gonna be a big fight here with the creatures I've trained. No, you get up there, your creature stays behind. It's okay, we're gonna have a big sword fight now. Okay, and I take my first swing, and he took his first swing, and my first hit wasn't huge, like 40 damage.
Yeah.
His hit was all but one of my health, and I was like, well, this isn't going very well. Maybe I didn't have enough thing. Oh no, it was plot. It was plot. The familiar I got at the beginning of the game, turns out, wasn't just my dad's familiar. It's this guy confused with the monsters, and that's his arm. That's his arm that he was controlling the whole time, kind of. And he's just about to strike you down, and your familiar leaves being his arm, goes back to being the bird creature it has been the whole game, gives you your dad's sword, and does mixture magic with you so that you can attack the enemy and kill him in one hit. And that's the end of the game.
That sounds very anticlimactic.
And then you wake up, you go home, and everyone's like, oh, it's so nervous, and it's raining again, just like it did the night Guy died. Well, has anyone seen our protagonist? And there's all the people of the village there, and some of them are anxious, and the people that you've been nice to and made good enough friends with throughout the game are there. And they'll have like some extra dialogue to say, and that's about it. And then you wake up the next morning and the game's like, okay, there are some new things around the house, but we're not going to let you interact with them, and your mum won't let you save. But if you go outside the house, your mum's going to be like, you going back up the tower then after all that? All right then, bye. But I can't save. I got to just, okay, fine, sure, I guess. That's it.
Aha.
The game has like 2 CG cutscenes, one in the intro and one which is literally just like a fly to the top of the tower as you're entering the top floor. And that's it. The rest of the story is told in this last minute in a rush of single page, hand-drawn style, like a vignette thing.
That's a real limp, disappointing ending, huh?
It's a shame, because the gameplay is kind of fun.
Yeah.
What about you? What else have you played?
The only other thing I've been playing, really, is I've been playing more Elden Ring.
Ooh, how is your elderly ring?
I'm making progress. I found a big boss that is a snake in a lava world. I think this is the boss where they do the FromSoft thing that they occasionally do. Some of the Dark Souls games do this, where you walk into the boss arena and there's a unique weapon available. And it does a thing that is particularly good against this boss, and you have one boss where you get to do a cool, unique thing and feel very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the, I think it might have been the first Dark Souls, there was a blade called the Storm Ruler, which fired out like wind blasts as you swiped it, and you used it to fight these like flying enemies that never came low enough down to attack. And like I've had one attempt at this boss. I feel like that's what's happening here. But yeah, I'm having fun with that game. I have gotten to the point with it now where I've started dual wielding. I now have katanas in both hands while I run around the world, and that's been pretty cool. I am enjoying that game in little bursts, and I'm in no rush to like power through to the end, because I feel like if I force myself to play it in big, lengthy play sessions, I'm going to enjoy it less. Just going to do a few hours here, a few hours there, and just have it going in the background, chipping away at it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What have you played this week?
The only other thing I've really played is As Your Dreams on the Game Boy Color. I gave that a whirl.
I would ask
it was on the Anthonic.
I ask hypothetically how that went, knowing the answer. But tell me how that went.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, it's weird how it clearly kind of wants to have Pokemon vibes.
Yes.
Seemingly for no reason. You'll be in the middle of a fight, but one attack will suddenly be put into this like Pokemon style, here's a back sprite of your character and a sprite for the enemy. Like, they're nice looking sprites.
But it's not even for the whole fight. It's for like one attack and then you go back to...
Yeah, like the next attack from either player, or from either character, might be just a standard like, oh, you wiggle slightly, your sprite wiggles slightly towards them. And they've received damage because it says at the bottom of the screen. There's loads of weird stuff about the fact that, like, your dad's not dead. He's just assumed to be wandering the tower somewhere. There's all these other random people you just bump into in the tower. It's just like, I'm the magician. Come see me if you want to get healed, but I'm completely random, so bye. I'm a famous monster hunter. I don't use familiars. I'm just really fucking hardcore. Okay, bye. Yeah, it doesn't look great.
No.
For the most part, like that, those weird fight scenes look kind of like they're nicely sprite work, but it does feel like playing a Pokemon game. You hit them for X damage. Okay, now have another go.
It feels like it might be one of those games of a certain era on the Game Boy that we're trying to walk the line between. We want a screenshot on the back of the box that looks like Pokemon,
Yeah.
but we don't want to steal the mechanics completely and get in trouble with Nintendo. There was an era of Game Boy games that walked that line.
Yeah, it's an odd experience. Like the town is really cluttered. Like the one thing about the PlayStation, and maybe it is a bit homogenous. Like the city's set up on sort of a grid system.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to walk around between one thing and another. And the Game Boy Color version is sort of more like stacked bricks. So it's like you'll walk up and there's like, no, I need to walk around this building. Now I need to walk around that building. Now I need to walk around that building. I'm finally at the tower. Woo. Woo. Also, like your house is miles from the tower. It feels like. So rather than just going, I'm back from one mission. I'm going to go back in. Random things have had their name changed for seemingly no reason. The one quality of life thing I did like, I found some red oil.
Yeah.
So remember I was saying about rust traps, which rust your shield and sword, if they're the wrong type of shield and sword. Red oil will stop your weapon from rusting, and I imagine there is also a blue oil somewhere that does the same for your shield. So it was a nice quality of life thing, but overall, I didn't have it in me to play a bad version of a game I'd only sort of enjoyed.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, that's everything I've played this week.
Well then.
Time for this.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Have you heard about Agnes?
Oh, what about Agnes?
Oh, terribly cancelled, I hear.
Cancelled?
Yes, they're all doing it these days.
I really?
Yes, terribly cancelled. Yes.
What makes you say that?
Oh, well, she's got a new book out. Doing very well, apparently, and appeared on local radio.
Are you sure she's been cancelled and she hasn't just done something newsworthy, maybe?
But no, as far as I understand, if you can only do that. I think that's what the kids call it now. When you're popular and everyone wants to interview you. And
I see.
You've got a very large platform.
So, you've got a new movie out and everyone wants to interview you. You've been so cancelled.
Oh, you've been terribly cancelled. I think that's what the youth mean.
I mean, it would make sense of all those people who keep saying they've been cancelled despite appearing in the Sunday papers.
Well, that's my only summation of the whole situation.
I can't work out a better solution than that. So
exactly.
Well, I hope you get cancelled soon.
Well, I hope so too. Would you like to cancel a sherry?
Oh,
lovely. Right, so we've got this video game we're working on.
Yes.
It's RPG.
Oh, well, there's role-playing ones.
Yes. And what better time to be making RPGs than here in 1996?
Oh, what a wonderful year that we are both in right now.
Absolutely. We didn't shoehorn that reference in at all. So, a very important thing, making friends.
Oh, yes, if we got one of those friendship systems.
Yeah, so you know how, like, people in the real world, they might not have any friends.
Well,
What if they could live out their fantasies, of their finalist fantasies, in a video game?
I mean, that sounds like it'd be a wonderful idea. Are we adapting an existing thing, or are we doing our own here?
I just think we'll do a thing. You make friends, and what if we do interactions with the friends until a variable ticks over and they love you?
Oh, I see. So you just sort of pump points into them, and then they have to love you.
They have to love you, yes. There's not even any dialogue options. You just interact with them every day. Maybe like there's someone who works as a waitress. And
yes.
You go in and you order one of everything off the menu over the series of days, or you could just keep walking in and out And
Yes,
that means that will trigger a thing.
You've technically interacted enough times.
Yeah, and that will trigger a thing where now they love you.
Oh,
That's how friendship
from my
works, right?
limited knowledge, I think that's exactly how it works out in the real world, from what I've heard.
And we'll make them all women.
Well, of course we will.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Of course we will.
Who wants to be
This is
friends now?
1996.
Exactly, and we have removed the one male friend that was in the game for Western audiences because we don't think they could handle a male friend.
I mean, what if you accidentally put too many interaction tokens into them and now they love you? Can't have that here in the late 90s.
Exactly. We'll just put out as more generic. You've built all the buildings in town as that little profile.
Oh yes.
It'd be lovely. So I think that's now. Do we foresee this giving any players a skewed view of how relationships work?
As I said, I think this is a pretty accurate summation of the world.
Certainly my experience.
Oh, exactly. I'm pretty sure if I interact with the woman in the coffee shop enough times, she will be forced to love me, and I think that that's probably accurate.
Exactly. If I order one of every sandwich from the sandwich shop downstairs, love.
Exactly.
Right, I think we've made brilliant progress. I'm ready to ship this. It's gone gold.
Hooray! No negative consequences in the decades to come.
So, what have you put in your eyes?
What have I put in my eyes? Well, we went up to the north.
We went up to the North Wrestling.
Yeah, North Wrestling NCL. We went and saw Let the Cannons Fly 3, which was a wrestling event that was going on that our lovely friend James Stephanie Sterling was doing a wrestling.
Well, the Commander.
The Commander Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really fun event.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely lovely crowd. I don't know what I was expecting out of independent wrestling in the North crowd, but it was a very queer, very welcoming, very lots of like metal enjoying types there.
Oh, yeah. I saw lots of band t-shirts.
It's a nice crowd. Yeah, it was a really lovely couple of hours of wrestling.
Yeah.
I thought the event did a really good job of mixing like funny, humorous, well-paced matches with oh no, this is just a show of two people being very athletic at each other. And it sort of balanced those back and forth really well, I thought.
Yeah.
They established the characters well. Also, I'm a big fan of any wrestling promotion where the chants get as heated as they did there.
Fuck off, you Tory bastard.
Yeah, there was a lot of "You're a Tory cunt. You're a Tory cunt."
Yeah.
Like at the
Tory cunt.
At the Tory cunt. That's his character. He's a crypto millionaire Tory. But yeah, it was a fun energy in that room. What did you think?
I was very overwhelmed. From
It
having done a very extended day of travel.
It was a very long day of
I had fun
travel.
running the shop.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed Steph's match and the other little bits I watched. And the pizza was good.
Yeah.
And it was nice to meet lovely people who were lovely. And it was nice to see Rob again, because we've not seen Rob in ages.
I had a Mars bar calzone. That was an
wild.
experience I had to emotionally process.
It looked like it was hard work from a texture point of view. Just
it was less that. It was more just, this doesn't fit the profile of anything I've ever eaten. And it's good, but my brain doesn't know how to categorize it.
Squish. Sweet, sticky squish.
It was lovely. It needed processing in the brain.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, met some absolutely lovely people at that event, and just had a nice time watching wrestles happen.
Watching the good indie wrestles.
Yeah, very very good event. I would definitely do again. It's very very enjoyable.
I'd like there to be less single day travel.
Yeah, that was a reality of going.
Or maybe see about getting the train all the way to Newcastle rather than
maybe, yeah.
half on the train, half in the car.
We'll work it out.
Much as it was lovely to travel with you.
It was a lovely road trip, but it was a long day of many forms of travel.
Yeah, and also I was just getting I'd already had a weird moment of claustrophobia on the train on the way up there, which is weird because I don't usually get that. And then just it was basically 2 solid days of being in vehicles sat down.
Yeah.
And that did not do my brain particularly
I
good.
can imagine. I kind of enjoy a weekend of just being in vehicles traveling, but I know that's not for everyone.
Yeah. Like, on the way home, I went and, like, had half an hour of just standing in the corridor. It's like, I just need to stand a bit and stretch out, and I'm too big to fit in small spaces like that.
That's
I'm
fair.
I'm a large.
I am about to also to do some more sitting in things that travel, and I'm looking forward to it. But again, I know it's not for everyone.
You going in the sky? I love a plane. I love takeoff.
Oh, love a good plane.
Ah,
I'm going flying.
you're gonna go zoom in the sky, zoomy.
I'm doing all of my work as best I can before I go away. What about you? What have you watched?
Me,
What have you put in your eyes?
well, I read Rat Queens Volume 7.
You did? How
I've been
was
sitting
it?
on it for a while. I started it ages ago, and it's like, we're going travelling, read a fucking book. So I did. Yeah, I think this is one of the first ones with the new team, because the original creator was like, I don't have the heart for this project anymore. So I don't know if you know, there was a lot of drama around Rat Queens. I don't know the exact details, but the original artist was apparently super fucking problematic.
Oops.
And as soon as they found out, it was like, okay, you're off the project, and I need some time to think about what happens now.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I've created these characters that people really fucking love,
Yes.
and I don't. I am relating it a lot to that problem.
How do I legally and technically disengage from you?
Yes, and also from the point of view of people who are just like, I don't want anything to do with that thing anymore.
Yeah.
Because they related to bad person, and I can't remember the exact details, but I remember it being a thing.
Fair and understandable.
Finally got a new artist, or a couple of new artists, and things were nice. The art style was fine. I was quite enjoyed a lot of it. And then he got to, like, I think it was Volume 6 or Neon, or whichever name it was. And it was just like, I'm just going to step away and hand it over to a new team. Here is some art from the new team, and they're going to continue writing stories. And initially I was like, I don't think I want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
And I gave it a year or so, and I was like, I want more stories about cool D&D characters. So I'll give it a whirl. And, it's alright.
Small Rat Queens.
It's more Rat Queens. It's very much more Rat Queens. Volume 7 is largely about, do you remember Gary?
Yes.
Gary becoming king.
Okay.
And renaming Palisade New Gary.
Mm-hmm.
And making everyone celebrate his existence.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Gary's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's about the Queens dealing with Gary and going to see Violet. It's weird because Violet and Orc Dave have always reminded me of some friends of ours.
Yeah.
Particularly because Orc Dave looks exactly like this person.
Yeah.
And Violet is small and fierce.
Yeah.
And in this issue, pregnant. It's like, oh, okay. The two people I haven't seen for a while because they've gone away to have babies. Spoilers, I guess. Yeah. So it was fun to think about friends and stuff, and I actually read a comic book because I just haven't had time for ages.
Yeah.
So it's like I could be working.
I know that feeling well.
Yes, and people are like, but you play a lot of video games. No, I play a lot of video games while I'm doing other things that are also work usually.
Yes.
Yeah.
A comic book requires a certain amount of this is the only task I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Which is, it's why I like them for travel.
Yeah.
It's I feel like I can justify them in the weird liminal space where time doesn't mean anything because I'm traveling.
Absolutely. The problem, I think, for me is that it's been so long since I, took the time to just, be and sit and read a book that, it's getting on a train and going, okay, well, I'm on a train. What do I usually do on a train? I listen to some music and I flick through my phone. It's like, no, just put that aside and do the nice separate task. Have a holiday.
I am probably going to do some of that on my flight, as well as probably doing a bit of book writing on the flight.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I have finished watching through all of season 10 of Bob's Burgers and started on season 11. I I'm very glad I gave that show a proper go. It is light-hearted and silly and positive, and I very much enjoy the character dynamics on that are at play. I think that it largely has succeeded at being a animated family sitcom that doesn't punch down and doesn't fall into weird tropes. And that's just been very pleasant background viewing. Um, it manages to walk the line of having conflict without ever having it be, based on tropey cishet bullshit or coming across as mean, and there is a certain degree of flawed characters working through things and working things out in a sitcom space. It's just nice viewing, and I will probably watch through season 11 and then go back and watch some of the earlier seasons because it's just been nice to have on in the background while I do things. I have been very impressed by what I've seen. What about you? What have you watched?
I kind of read another book.
Tell me about
I
the book.
didn't mean to. I was just looking at it.
Yeah, and
I
then
was just looking, and then it all just slipped in through my eyes.
what did you read?
I read the book Wanderhome.
I
first heard about this on a TikTok.
Okay.
Wanderhome is a no dice, no masters system game.
Okay.
In that there are no dice rolls. You can roll dice if you want some randomness of things.
And there's no DM.
There's no necessarily a game master. You can have a guide, but that is completely unnecessary. And it is about it's not really about saving the world or anything. It's about going on a journey. Or going on lots of journeys.
Yeah.
And you play little animal folk going and doing stuff. Like, you might go to a place and someone will sort of go, I think it'll be this type of place. And then someone will describe some bits about that place. And someone else will describe some more bits about that place. And you pick out certain aspects that will give you prompts for how you will tell this story together. And there are like tokens you can give and receive depending on the sorts of actions you've taken and the sort of character you're playing. The characters feel a kind of thirsty sword lesbians but without stats. Like your character can always do these things, pick some things about your character, and that might give them a trait, or it might just be just some things to help you fill out and tell a story about them.
Flesh out a rough archetype.
You can play just single sessions. You could play years-long campaigns, potentially. Like, there's a whole system for the seasons changing and the months that exist and the celebrations that happen at the end of every season and sort of things you can do is like, hey, if this is your second time seeing this sort of thing, this happens. Or if between this session and all of the other sessions, you've encountered this festival and you do a check, and if amongst all of those you've got 5 ticks, something special might happen. You might have a different version of the holiday. You might have like a whole seasonal thing. There's one where you might have a particularly long winter, where, like, okay, instead of the next season being like sort of springy, you're going to just basically keep going to winter until the end of the next month, and then you're going to completely skip a month later on, where you would have done harvest stuff, because it was so cold they were struggling to plant crops. And now there is a difficulty in that
There's a
respect.
consequence.
It's not your responsibility to save the world or solve everyone's problems, but maybe if, like, you are going past a house and you notice that their roof has caved in and you're like, are you okay? Do you need any help? You could maybe help wrangle some locals to help repair a friend's roof. And it's just charming and wholesome, and I love it.
It sounds wonderful and lovely and adorable.
And there's a bat in a hat with a package.
A bat in a hat?
A bat in a hat with a package. So basically their version of Post is there are moth towers.
Okay.
And the moths fly between the towers with packages. And then people go and get the packages and distribute them locally. And like that's an archetype you can be. You can be a friend who looks after the moths and makes sure the packages are delivered.
Aw.
And like one of your things is like, hey, you've got to the end of a year, you get a new thing. Maybe that's a new package that you're carrying. And will you deliver the package? Will you go somewhere? Will you try and steer the story or suggest a story that goes in a position where you find the person whose package you're carrying, and maybe there's a story around that. Yeah, it's beautifully illustrated. It's really charming. It's $25 on itch.io. You can get print copies. I think they're $45, and you also get a PDF version. Or it's currently in the Texas Trans itch.io bundle.
Yes.
Which is nice, because I'd been looking at it for a while. It's like, I'll do the thing. And then I was like, I got paid. Maybe I will look at it again. Can I justify it? It's like, it's also available in the bundle that you were thinking about getting anyway.
Cool.
So we got the bundle. I've also had a bit of a look through the bundle.
Yeah.
There's a game in there, an RPG, where one of you is trying to ignore a malicious spirit who's pretending to be Jonathan Frakes asking you questions. And you have to not react. If you react, you lose.
You
and
have to not
become the
react
vengeful-
to... Did you know that marbles could fit inside your mouth very well?
Have you ever...
Have you ever suspected your toaster was haunted?
How much would you need to spend the night sleeping in a graveyard?
How much would you need to have a graveyard sleep in you for the night?
So the concept of the game is... you pick a chore that needs to be done around the house. And one person is trying to do the chore and ignore the Jonathan Frakes spirit, and the other person is just trying to distract them. So I suppose it's like, do a clean while somebody entertains you.
That sounds fun.
And if you react, you lose, and you become the vengeful spirit that has decided to look like Jonathan Frakes. Which I thought was an amazing idea for an RPG. But yeah. What about you? What have you put in your eyes?
Oh, well, we watched the last few episodes of the most recent season of Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, we did.
Because you realised that we hadn't finished the season.
At some point, we got so distracted by Severance and Picard that we forgot...
And life in general.
And life in general, that we forgot the Discovery was
So we
still
had
on.
like 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery we hadn't seen, and oh goodness, I really enjoyed the final like big arc of this season. As much as at least one character constantly frustrated me, and I was sat there going, just fucking see that how terrible that person is, and just stop them now. I really enjoyed, like, talking broad spectrum spoilers. This most recent season sort of ends with an arc that is a proper in-depth first contact story, and it is probably my favorite first contact story that I've seen Star Trek handle, in that it really sits with the how do you communicate with a species that is so unlike your own that you may not have reference point for what their experience of the world is. Do they experience the world through the same lens as you? Will they even see you as sentient beings? Do you have any common reference point you could communicate through? How do you do...
Especially when you've got an alien species who has largely just been wiping out entire solar systems like they're nothing.
Yeah. I particularly liked some of the stuff with how do you... I like that they overlapped on multiple difficult situations in First Contact over each other. Like, one example I will talk about in broad strokes here is you haven't yet worked out how to get over the language barrier. You're still struggling to communicate language, and then you have to communicate a very fundamental difference between you and this other species that has caused a huge misunderstanding, and you would struggle to explain it if you had no language barrier, let alone a language barrier on top of a fundamentally different experience of reality. I like that they layered those things on top of each other and had multiple things going wrong and needing overcoming at once.
Yeah. It wound its way up to an excellent finale.
And I like as well that, like, winding back a few episodes to just before we took that break and saw the 3 episodes, I like that they really focused on what do you actually need for a good first contact? Like, they brought on a dedicated linguist with, like, expertise of historical languages, and, like, they were bringing on, like, proper experts to be like, hey, look, you're a team of people who, like, you may have done first contact, but you usually have language on your side. You're gonna need some help on this. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was beautifully done. The visual effects are awesome.
Yeah. I really liked this.
Yeah, I'm loving Discovery.
Discovery's really hitting a stride. I am a big fan.
Keep on striding, Discovery friend.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, we watched a disappointing film together.
Oh God.
We watched The King's Men.
The Kingsman.
The King's Men,
Yes.
which is a prequel origin story for the
So Kingsman: The Secret Service.
and its
Kingsman: The
sequel.
Golden Circle.
Yeah, so the original two Kingsman films, I think they're very enjoyable.
Yeah.
For anybody who's not
They're
seen them,
funny, a bit silly. They've got a good sense
Yeah.
of humour. They are what if James Bond, but over the top.
what if James Bond but working class late teenager
Yeah,
in the sort of prim and proper spy world
yeah,
with very exaggerated action and some genuinely interesting villains. Like
Yeah.
the Golden Circle in particular, I really
Yes.
thought had a fascinating villain.
and Samuel L. Jackson's character in the first one is amazing.
Yeah.
That church scene in the first one is incredible.
Yes. So, The Kingsman is none of the things I enjoy about this series.
It doesn't. I don't even think it knows what it wants
Yeah.
to do.
So, like, on paper, the description is it's about the origins of that spy organization during World War One, trying to stop a Scottish man from being the secret architect of World War One,
Yes.
who's angry at the English and therefore World War One.
Yes.
This film feels like really hamstrung by a couple of things. It feels hamstrung by the fact it's trying to set itself during a real world historical event.
Mhm.
It feels hamstrung by the fact it's trying to get to an endpoint of establishing this organization.
Mm.
It feels very much like it doesn't know what it wants its own characterization to be, because, like, you've got this father and son, rich, posh pair,
Mm.
and the father's already invested in the world of being a spy and all of this sort of thing,
Well,
and being
he's certainly like a diplomatic sort.
Yeah.
I don't know officially what his role
he-
is, but
he-
he's known for being rich and being good at talking to people.
He's
a diplomat.
he's a gentleman who can do spy shit, and his son, like, it constantly felt like they were going to set his son up as the character who was going to have an arc and join the organization, and it was going to have an arc.
Yeah, because it starts with the mother dying.
Yeah.
And being like, never let our son see war.
Yeah,
and it felt like that was going to be a whole thing of the father is stuck with this idea that he has to be a pacifist through and through, and he has to encourage that, and that's fine, but maybe he'd got too stuck in that, but
Yeah.
he wasn't able to do little a killing to stop all of the killing.
Yeah, but, like, because the problem is like there's this whole subplot about the son desperately wants to go fight in World War One because he's been won over by war propaganda.
Yep.
And, like, he goes off to war and has his realization of war is a terrible, horrible, brutal, needless thing, and that, like, it's not as glorious and glamorized as he had believed.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, this is his setting to come home from the war and help his dad and grow into the gentleman spy.
Yeah, he'd been taught loads of things already. He'd helped with various a whole international thing once already, and then it felt like he was really being set up as no, I've seen the horrors of war. You're right.
Yes.
This isn't glamorous. This isn't
No.
cool and hero making.
And-
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna help Dad do the least amount of killing possible.
Yeah, to stop all of this needless killing.
Exactly.
And then he just fucking gets shot and it's nothing.
he
And
gets
that
shot in the
goes
head
nowhere.
and it's nothing.
And, like, his dad takes the weirdest fucking messages from that, because his dad's like, I must be a pacifist because my son cannot get hurt. War is a terrible thing. Violence is a terrible
promised my
thing.
wife.
My son will die. And he's proven right. And you would think that would be his moment to go, Like, that would push
See?
him into pacifism and he'd have to overcome that. And what he takes away from it is, I should be the kind of man my son was, unafraid to die, time to go do murder.
Yeah.
His takeaway from his son's needless death at the desire to, like, be a hero is, I'll be like my son, I'll do murders.
I'll do a murder. That's
It's-
cracking,
it's-
that.
And, like, it's played as if his son dying is the motivation for him to get back into the spy business.
Yeah.
Except he's been doing it all film.
Yes.
Like, there's no character arc. His son dies and he's like, guess I'll do a Kingsman
I'm
film
going
now.
to sob and drink whiskey and then
It
get over it as soon as my friend tells me off.
it feels like this film spent so long rehashing the events of World War One with an ominous Scottish man going, "Ah, yes, do World War One for me. I am Scottish," before it became a Kingsman film for like 15 minutes.
Yes.
It's such a
It felt like every character in that film was just completely wasted because, like, the whole weird secret society run by the Scotsman seemed like it was going to be more interesting than it was, or even was going to play a bigger part. It was
there's so many things that could have been good setups that just went nowhere.
like it could have very easily been a film about fucking Rasputin. And maybe one accomplice, but like you set up this whole thing of, oh, there's this guy and there's the Nazi guy and there's the Scotsman and there's all these other people, and then that like whole post credits or like at the end of the film?
Yes, the post credits where they implied that secretly Hitler wasn't the real mastermind of World War II. Someone
was just a puppet.
puppeting Hitler.
Yeah, because they needed a right hand to balance out Lenin.
Yeah. So the Scots did World War One because they weren't happy about the English.
And the Nazi that he was working, like, had as one of his...
Yeah, Hitler isn't the real villain of World War II. Our fictional character was the real villain.
Yeah.
It's gross territory to fucking
It's gross
dive
territory.
into.
It's a bad film.
It's a bad film. It's a film that has so many, like, interesting setups that go nowhere. Like... as soon as they started calling one of the characters Merlin, I was like, oh, you're going to be the gadgets person. You're going to be coming up with the magical, wonderful inventions that help them do that. No. None of those names were, like, because I was like...
Not until the very end when it was like, and these are all your roles. See, it's the Thing from the other films.
Yeah, but, like, none of them acted like the characters they were named after.
No.
In any way.
No.
It's such a waste of a film.
And, like, I get it from a, hey, it's just a codename point of view. But also, like...
have the original people with those codenames have them for reasons that seem thematic.
I don't know.
It's such a wasted opportunity.
The whole film was just a waste.
It is a film that has no idea what it wants to be and spends 90 minutes sort of floundering around changing its mind constantly about what it wants to be.
Yeah. So we watched that. I don't recommend it.
No, I don't. Go watch the original two Kingsman films. I'd recommend both of those. They're
both
enjoyable. So yeah, you watch anything else?
Let me check.
Or put anything else in your eyes, I suppose.
That is everything I've watched.
Well then, time for this.
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, are you gay?
I'm pretty gay.
You don't look gay.
No. The shaved side of the head and the blue and the does that not say gay to you?
I don't think it says gay enough.
Okay. Well, what would you suggest?
I would suggest this rainbow-coloured, like, pouch beverage.
Oh, that's a very shimmery. Oh, my eyes.
Chug.
Okay.
Chug. Wow, you are literally sparkling.
Oh gosh.
Yep. You're almost Twilight. And rainbows are pouring out of your eyes.
I really feel like touching a boob.
And ears.
What was this?
You can touch it tonight.
Oh, hell yeah. What was I drank?
This is gay juice.
Oh.
You drank the gay juice. Now you're gayer.
Hell yeah.
Gay. You just chug it down, and you're real hecking
Oh,
great.
give me more of that gay juice. Can we, like, fill a bathtub with this shit? It's
We
great.
could. We could beer bong it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Chug, 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 gay juice, more gay juice. Everyone can have gay juice. It's suitable for everyone.
Oh, girls are pretty.
Girls are pretty. You can give gluten-free,
Oh,
vegan,
that
not
sounds
tested
good,
on
yeah.
animals.
Oh,
It's all natural.
yeah.
Gay juice. Nom nom. That's pretty fucking gay. Enter the code Q&PS 207 and you can get 50% off your first 6-pack of gay juice. Gay juice. When someone says, "Hey, you don't look gay," just chug some of this and then throw some in their eyes, and then everything will look gay to them. Gay. Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi.
Hi.
So, our competitors for a while have been, they've had that subscription service where you can pay and you get games and they're available to pay, and, like, you know, they're not buying the games, they don't get to keep them, but, like, they get to play them and stuff for money.
Right.
And the folks over in marketing have been saying that we should have an equivalent where people can give us money to not actually own games and just keep paying us money to have the games.
Yeah, and if they stop paying, they don't have the games anymore.
Exactly.
So they can never stop paying.
Exactly.
And I love it when they pay.
Exactly. It's a win-win. But we do have one thing that, like, we aren't doing that they do, and it's not a compromise. They give away, they let people who pay the subscription fee have the games, like the first party games, day one when they release. And
why would they do that? That's
money on the table.
Money.
You could make them buy the game,
yeah,
if they want it, and then also still be paying the subscription fee, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we need a way
microtransactions.
Exactly. So we need a way to spin this that isn't just we want more money. Why aren't we giving them games day one as well? What excuses we got?
It's for the developers. People love supporting the developers, right?
Developers.
It's like, well, you know, how will the developers continue to eat?
Probably.
Eat. How will they continue to eat if we aren't paying them? And we wouldn't do that if they weren't.
No, that's sounding like we're not supporting the developers.
It's like a tip system, like people work in restaurants, right?
Well, I mean, like, look, maybe we put it this way: we'd be devaluing the games, right? If everyone with a subscription fee had access to the game, then, you know, the fact that you have the game on launch day wouldn't be special anymore, and we don't want to eradicate the feeling of being the only one in your friends group who has the game yet and gets to be the exciting person with exclusivity. Yeah. We don't want to rob you of that joy.
Right, yeah. I mean, why would we want people to not be as elite as they are now? Like, we've spent a whole lot of time just massaging their egos that it is important to be just better than everyone else.
Exactly.
And what better way to say you're better than everyone else than having the thing that no one else does?
Exactly.
If everyone's got it, no one's special, right?
Exactly. And then, you know, when the player numbers start to dip, we can sell the fact we're putting it on the subscription service late, not as we held it back and, you know, we're giving it away for free and you shouldn't have bought it, but instead, like, oh, hey, we thought we'd give an injection to the player base so that you'd have more people to play with. Isn't this great that we gave you more people to play with?
Also, microtransactions. We could add microtransactions.
I mean, obviously the microtransactions aren't included when we eventually put it on the subscription.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears?
Not a lot of music. I've been listening to one piece of music on loop today that I'm very excited about, that I'll talk about at some point in the future. But I listened to a couple of new songs I can talk about. I listened to a track called Songs for Teenagers by Fake Problems, which is a sort of laid-back ambient rock track that has, like, a slightly clashing intense vocal line about just trying to work out how to cope as a desperately lonely teen with mental health stuff going on. It was a relatable track. As someone who once was one of them. The other one I listened to that was really interesting was Fuck You, Loneliness by Joe Cassette. Another track about loneliness, but it's a sort of acoustic guitar track with a very... Usually when you have an acoustic guitar-led track, you will have the vocals sound very natural. This had very heavily processed vocals over that.
Okay.
With a much more like, fuck you, I refuse to let myself feel lonely when there's loving people in my life kind of defiance to it. It's a good track.
Nice.
What about you? What do you listen to?
Oh, I'll just rattle off a few. Goldfinger Superman, that good classic upbeat of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater fame. Venga Boys, We Like to Party.
We
'cause
Like
it's
to
a
Party.
classic. Aerith theme.
Yeah.
The live Japan tour version, orchestrated. It's beautiful. Serial Killer's good enough because I fancied some reggae drum and bass. It's good stuff. And Akid Pella from Bastion, which was the Dice Funk intro music for a season. I cannot remember which season.
I'm trying to remember what season that was now. I think it might... Season 4? Maybe?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even know I had that on my phone, but there it was. I was like, oh, that's nice. Oh, I remember this. Yeah. No one's reading the credits over the top of it. What about you? If it isn't much else?
That's it for me, really. It's just been... It's been those two tracks and listening to one bit of music over and over that I'm very excited to talk about at some point. Yeah!
And, listening to a lot of the Empty Bowl still. This is the, sort of vaguely ASMR...
We're going to gently talk about cereal very calmly.
Over the sound of crashing waves.
Yes, have a nice relaxing time when none of it I need to pay much attention to. I don't need to remember any of this, it's just cereal.
They're just talking about how much they love cereal and new things in the cereal stuff. None of which will get to the UK.
It's very chill, ambient background existence.
Yeah, it's completely non-harmful.
Yeah, it is just half an hour of the problems of the world don't matter right now. Tell me about the thing you like.
Tell me what a marbit is.
Yeah,
I need to know what a marbit is.
It's a little bit of marshmallow.
Yeah,
like the Lucky Charms.
Took me a while, but I got there in the end. I worked it out from context. Oh no, someone's choking on a marbit.
Oh no.
It's nice to hear people talking. Lots of talk of cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah.
Well, they're not very happy about vanilla. Oh, they don't like the vanilla.
No, I don't like the vanilla.
No. Well then.
Time for this. Are you planning to go on holiday?
Uh-huh.
Have you got a lot of work to get on top of before you go?
Sure do.
Feeling like you're doing so much work before you go that you'll be exhausted when the holiday arrives?
Don't need a vacation.
Try Holiday Work Assistant. We'll do some of your pre-holiday busy work to make sure that your holiday is actually a restful holiday.
Okay, here's a piece of my tractor.
Because getting ready for a holiday from work shouldn't be work.
Ah, that's much better. I'm going to have a nice holiday.
Minister, I need one more question answered for the for the paper.
Absolutely.
Can a woman have a penis?
If she wants one.
Got you there, huh?
If she wants one. Or not, if she has one and doesn't want, maybe you could have like a take a penis, leave a penis system. Those who want can have one, and those who don't have to. And why stop at women? Anyone who wants a penis, just have a penis. Have two, why not? Seems very basic to me. Does that answer your question? Is this you asking for a penis? So we can go. Has anyone got a penis they don't want? No. Well, we'll put you on a list of some sort. You can get a penis as soon as one comes up. Comes up.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brochure Justice Warriors.
Brochure Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Barry.
Right, Harry, how are you doing?
Oh, not bad. So you've been up to much?
Oh, I've been watching Disney's attempts to claw back their reputation this week.
Oh, they actually made an attempt at all.
I mean, the most limp attempt they could have done. Yeah, they went on social media and did a solemn JPEG, as you do.
JPEG so solemn.
It was something to the effect of, the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida is a terrible, harmful piece of legislation, and
Which
it
we
should never
funded.
have passed, and we will do everything we can in our power to see it repealed, and it should never have happened. And, you know,
and you funded it. What exactly?
exactly, leaving out the fact that they funded the politicians that pushed it through and said nothing while it was being pushed through, and have only really responded because it seems to be hurting their bottom line, because there's a lot of gays that are a bit upset about it.
A lot of gays that, you know, didn't have great family life necessarily, and they were brought into the loving embrace of Disney movies that basically
Well,
raised them.
exactly, you know, yeah, here's some representation for you. A series of monstrous villains. Enjoy.
And, you know, background characters who might vaguely be possibly homosexual, but we wouldn't actually clarify that just in case Dubai or Russia got upset.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, they can say as much as they like that they regret that this happened, but, like, are they putting money behind funding left-wing politicians who are trying to repeal it? Are they, you know, allowing their striking their workers to, in solidarity, wear Pride merch while working?
Yeah,
You
we've
know.
not actually heard anything actionable.
We've heard a
Just
lot of
words.
words and a lot of not being particularly supportive of their workers during strike action.
Yeah, the only
More
actual
bits.
actions we've had are actions to the negative, you know. And
Exactly,
what I'd like to
exactly.
see maybe is if they were donating tenfold what they donated to the right
Exactly.
wingers.
It's not like they
to
can't
push it
afford
in
it.
their
They are the
direction.
largest multimedia conglomerate in the fucking planet.
Yeah.
They could afford to, like, you know, absolutely fund the hell out of people who are working to, you know, to repeal this bill.
Yeah,
But they don't, because, you know, all they really want is to not have the stain of being seen as having supported it.
yeah.
As long as they can go, see, we said sorry and we said we'll improve, you can all go back to enjoying us guilt-free.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're writing on.
yeah, it does seem to be the thing, doesn't it?
It's a real disappointment. It's a real exhausting one.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, well, hope for the best,
Yeah.
expect nothing, but, you know, maybe one day.
Best of luck to the people out there affected. It's a lot right
Oh,
now.
absolutely. Oh, hug, mate.
Yeah.
Good hug, mate, good hug. Right, I think I'll go put the kettle on.
Oh, sounds lovely. I might join you.
Nice.
So, Laura,
Yes.
I believe that we are in the process of doing a book.
Yeah, we're doing our development edit, our repass over it at the
I
moment.
see the notes over there.
Yeah, we made those notes together. We'll probably make some more notes tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm real happy with the edits so far. I'm feeling real excited about this book. I think people are going to real like it.
Yeah.
It's a real good little book we've made here.
And it's only getting better. It's
Exactly.
going to be too powerful by the time it comes out.
Oh, I can't harness. You can't handle the power of this book. It's flowing everywhere.
Over 9,000 a book.
Yeah, it's called Who Wants the Whale?
It is.
It's about the video game industry from the perspective of someone who went, oh, hey, wouldn't that be great to work there? Oh, no, the industry. Oops.
I've always wanted to work in video games because I love video games, but I cannot code or do art or music or any of those things. I will do other things. I will
sit
be an
and-
assistant.
I will sit and do paperwork in the meetings. Oh, no, they're doing capitalism here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll be out at some point in the future that we know, but we can't tell you yet. But you can pre-order it and support it on Unbound, where there's all sorts of backer rewards and stuff.
Oh yes, some good stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it might be illegal in Russia at this point.
I've heard rumours.
So that's unbound.com/books/whale, and you can pre-order a copy.
Yeah.
Join us.
Yes.
What about you? Got another book, haven't
Mate,
you?
I've got a book called Me and My Dysphoria Monster, which is releasing on August 18th, 2022.
Not long now.
That's not that long in the future. It's an illustrated children's book. Go check it out. Go look at the cover art. It looks adorable. You can read about it there. Me and My Dysphoria Monster. Other than that, I'm at Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. Just check me out, everyone on Laura K Buzz. You'll find all of my things.
Yay.
What about you?
Streamerlinks.com/Janiac, JANEIAC. You can find pretty much all of my links. You can get t-shirts on my Redbubble and various other things over there. My most important link, though, is patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week. And, you know, maybe let me have some sleep occasionally. That would be nice.
You deserve sleep.
Helps me sleep.
You
Helps
deserve
Jane
sleep. Sleep for Jane.
Yeah. Thank you very much to the new people who have signed up in the last month. We are heading slowly towards that goal of 30 Patreons. Woo! That'd be very cool. Yeah, and then I think all that is left to do is will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.